So what is the next question?
So if you say that people get sick because of the stress, why children get sick too?
Okay. Now, the children in adults obviously is from stress. Now the child, when the child born, it's completely helpless versus like a deer. He can run after 10 minutes. A human child, it's usually they miscarried. 9 months, it's most likely not enough to bear, because when we were walked on 4, maybe like ancient times, the thighs of the woman was wider, so most likely she bared longer. Now because once she stand on 2, maximum it could be 9 months, so child completely helpless. He cannot even lift up his head to eat, drink milk. So therefore, all the energy that he gets, 100% from its mother. Now, not when she's breastfeeding him or whatever, until puberty, until 12, 13 years old, the whole energy. So if father puts negative energy on the mother and she goes through stress, let's say she's like dermal vector and the child like audio, and if she has issues, like she goes through stress and some problems, she transfers energy toward the child. So whatever vector is the child, that psychosomatics is gonna have. So if he has audio vector, he might have headaches, or ears might have pain, or it's anal vector, maybe stomach pain or problems with the stomach, or it's dermal vector child, they might have skin issues. So whatever vector is the child, but energy of the mother, that's what transfers it. So if a child sick 4 or 5 years old, and no, doesn't matter what problem he has, you have to work with the mother, because she probably goes through a lot of stress or problems that transferring that energy toward the child. So once the mother becomes okay and she knows how to deal with this certain vector child, for example, audio vector child, you don't need to have too much noise in the house. If mother screams, sometimes oral mother, with its very loud voice, all the time scream on him, or it's too much noise, an audio vector child, it starts to close down, it starts to become that autism starts. Or she screams or she curses. If she curses on the child, if it's audio vector child, that's definitely autism. Sometimes she doesn't curse. Sometimes she goes through a lot of stress, and what happened is, when she goes through a lot of stress, and she sometimes even hates her own child, because she does. Person, when he doesn't feel well, then he hates other people, right? So now she starts telling him, you dumb, I shouldn't have you born. That's schizophrenia in audio vector only. If it's audio vector child, that's how schizophrenia. So he doesn't born with that, and it doesn't matter if his parents or grandparents, that's what his environment does. Is mother or maybe father, but mainly energy from mother, but father also can impact if he does that. So that's what can lead to, in every vector different. If it's muscular vector, muscles, you can beat this child, you can abuse him. I mean, maybe you're not gonna harm him psychologically, but if it's audio, you're gonna damage him very badly. He's gonna have a lot of problems. If it's not schizophrenia, it's gonna be something, whatever, bipolar or whatever it could lead to, because that's how child gets sick. So once he's sick, then I need to see mother and work with his parents. After 6, 7 years old, then it's important what kind of school or environment he's into. So, but after 5, 6 years old, is already, in order to harm him, is not going to be that easy as is 1 or 2 years old, because 1 or 2 years old child doesn't even differentiate himself versus others. He doesn't know that there is somebody else. He kind of understands that it doesn't differentiate other people yet. But then you need to make sure that kindergarten they don't put stress on this child, even everything fine at home. I had a woman, she asked me recently, I have some issues with my child when he's in the kindergarten, when he's in whatever, pre-K, whatever, he's like 5 or 6 years old, and I don't have any problems at home. And they always tell me, hey, you need to take him to psychologist, you need to do something. Now, what I think, first I told her, look, right now, everybody's gonna push you because everybody might short, all businesses close down, so the psychologist will make money if they're gonna, you can say, if they're gonna get him customers. Now, another thing is, you have to take a couple hours and stay there with your child. I know sometimes they're not gonna do that, but because other kids might see you, they want their parents, so do it the way it's not gonna be conflict with other kids or parents. Now, if you cannot do that, but you will have to stay there take a couple of days off and see what happens. If they complaining and you say everything is fine, that's the only option. You have to see what's going on. If you cannot do it, just find a different one, because you have to, try. It's problem because they don't want to let, because other kids will see you, they're gonna ask for their parents. So try to you understand?
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be that conflict, but that's what makes child sick. What did you want to ask something about?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, what about the newborn kids? Because sometimes there are kids that are born already with some health issues.
when they have some health issues when they're born, that's already genes, that's already, for example, maybe what could happen in audio vector child, if the mother was, let's say she was pregnant 7 months, and loud music, maybe she went to the parties too loud. Maybe if it's audio vector child, it could do some impacts, but obviously if she was drug abuse, alcohol, you can do nothing with that. You have to have healthy parents either way. And of course, if they go through issues, if she has problems, husband fights, obviously children, they have to born in good environment too. You can't, if it's abuse in the family and child born, he might have some problems because father is drunk or mother is drunk, right? Those things happen. But I talked right now, if everything is fine in the family and child born, and he starts to become sick after year 2 or 3, what happens? When you're newborn, you have to make sure the family are fine too. You understand?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.